right? Unavailable. So here's a book, but a book, it's already set as unavailable, right? Else, right? That's we don't have the book, right? So had a book, not had a book. We have a book, but it's not available or available, right? So if it's available, okay, you can you can check out successfully, but said book become unavailable, right? So yeah, let's take a break. Later we'll continue this. And this diagram is a little bit different from the previous one because we have a message. Oops. Where did it go? Like this. So we have kit. We have checkout GUI, checkout controller, DB manager, along in documents. 15. And here we have message. All right. Remember the previous one. This returns as a message. All right. The type is message. Okay. All right. And here you can see that it's a string. All right. So now the type is a message. Message. We need a message because here it's going to send a message. Right. Message to the patron. All right. And also you will see. So we need, yeah, instance, right, message. This diagram use a list of code numbers, right? So more than one code number. And the previous one, this is one code number, one book, right? And this is a code numbers, right? Code numbers. So more than one book. Then here become code number list, right? Code number list. Return message from here. And you can see alternate is a loop. All right, here loop and alternate because we have a list of book. All right, the book number list, the size. All right, so we're going to check it out. If a patron wants to check out 5 books, then from 0 to 4. All right, so a list to see that. And the others, the same. Okay. So based on your design, and here, okay, let's look at this. Put some the patron, right? Patron wants to check out many books. All right, of course, you gotta check each and every one to see that probably all are available, right? And you can check out. Or some of that are available. Or like what we just described, our reason, the patron, cannot check out any book because, the patron holds some book and need to return first, right? Or many reasons, the patron, has no right to check out any book. This patron use others, book card like that, right? So we have a lot of situation that we need to verify that. And now you can see here we have V, right? View, V, controller, C, right? And model, right? So model are passive. So not active. It means whenever somebody needs my information, I give. Right, look at that. So MVC. Okay. When we use MVC, right, V, C, M. Right. So these two, check out controller and check out GUI. Loader. Check out GUI, check out controller. All right. Tell me the role of MVC. Now, which one is B? Okay, GUI, right? Controller is C. And which one can replace the other one? Which one we need to have? Or both? Or if you can only choose one, you're going to choose controller. Why? It seems more important. Okay. Jerry, what do you think? Why we need controller rather than GUI, or you have different answer? M, B, C. V and C, which one we need to have? Raise your hand if you understand. Raise your hand if you understand. Eva?
The controller can be replaced.
Why?
Because it just only send message.
That's only send message. No, that's just not totally right. Do you understand that, Neko? Great. You understand that? Cindy? Okay. Penny?
In my opinion, the controller sender function is more complex, and it will control the message to others objects to get the return or something.
Then?
So I think the controller is more important.
So we keep controller rather than
GUI,
Right.
yes.
Sounds reasonable. All right, sounds reasonable. But unfortunately, this is not correct. Okay,
I think the controller is more important because the GUI is like you press a button and the button will execute the controller method. Without the GUI, the user the method of the system is on the controller, not on the GUI. The GUI is just a trigger or an event to trigger the controller method. So I think GUI is not important than controller.
So we keep GUI.
So
we keep controller.
yes, we keep controller.
Yeah, you added more information, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty good. Added more information, right, to make us understandable. But unfortunately, it's not correct.
I think both 都很重要。然后那个 GUI 是负责那个 interface，然后 controller 是接收 GUI，所以我觉得他们两个都蛮
Both of them are very important.
都重要。
Yeah, and if you have a choice, right? You gotta choose. You gotta choose one. And you know the answer. You got to answer my question, right? So both of them are important. You need to choose one, right? Everybody think control is more important than GUI, right? And you think they are equally important. So why do we choose GUI? Now you got it, right?
I think GUI is more important because patron need to interactive with GUI and controller just help GUI to do the thing.
Okay, and without controller, how come GUI can do it? Now how can GUI do it without controller?
把 controller 的东西合并到 GUI 上。
Oh, smart, yes. So we can take out controller, but you cannot take out GUI. All right. They are, we cannot say which one is more important usually, all right? Because they are important, right? They are important. Like Ian said, they are important. I cannot get rid of them either, right? But without an interface, actor cannot do anything. All right. Actor cannot interact with controller directly. So if you have a controller without a GUI, that means that only inside the system, right? So no interface. You cannot think any system without an interface, right? So without a controller and everything that should be taken by GUI, all right? So GUI need to do everything, all right? So the old design, they don't have this controller. So and the GUI, does everything, slower the performance. Slower the performance if the function is very complex. Slower the performance, and it's very hard to maintain because everything, make the GUI bloated, very fat, right? Bloated, fat. It's hard to reuse. So that's why come to have MVC. From MVC, then we think of decouple, right? We need to decouple the things to make the system manageable, right? Decouple that. So with this decouple, right, we wanted to separate the concern, right? So make the component thin, right? So thin, and create a more object. So we need to create a controller, right, to share responsibility of the interface. So then we can make the interface fancy, right, friendly. But about the coordination, the role of coordinator, then we assign to a controller. One function has a controller to do it usually, right? And here, because we know the checkout function is quite personal, well, customized usually, and actually involve a lot of things, right? The person could be, special role or check out from other library, interlibrary room. It's a lot of situation, not that easy, right? So it's very complex. That's why we need a controller. Okay, and here it's going to see a DB manager, right? What is DB manager here? Who create DB manager? Oh, good. Yeah. Okay. Jeffrey? Who create DB manager?
controller
Control create. Why? Why control need to create DB manager for what?
可以改孤疑吗？
嗯
孤疑
You wanted to change as a
Yeah,
GUI?
yeah, yeah.
That is not correct.
哦，controller 吗
Don't change. All right.
好，哦，OK，
Okay. And why?
就是 controller 不是要从孤疑那边拿讯息吗？就是那个 call number， 所以他要有一个那个 DB manager 才能拿到吗？
Without DB manager, controller still can do it.
哦，好，
Yeah. Why? What is the controller need DB manager?
我看一下。哦，他要那个管理他的资讯吗 ？Manager
Manage the
data
like what?
number
Manage the number.
或者是他有没有被借走这些，是吗？
Clear? You answer that?
Because controller need DB manager, and controller create DB manager. DB manager become a helper of controller to help controller the manage database.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So please, that's because the function is very complex, right? It's very complex. Only GUI, they will slow the performance. So we need a controller, right, to share responsibility. And controllers, well, it's more than I can think. It's very, very complex. So I still need a helper. Since controller needs a helper, if class A needs a helper, then class A will create class B. So controller creates a helper, create DB manager. If class A is a controller, create because it needs, right? So when we need to use, then we create it. DB manager will be created. So here to manage database, and you probably see that this is not very complicated, but I said that the situation is more than you can think. So it could be cross library, right? Or different type of library. Well, different types of database across library, different type of databases. All right. So this part is very complicated. So controller will talk with the front end interface and then deal with the back end. But back end is so complex, right? So needs a helper. So DB manager will be created by controller to deal with different kinds of databases. All right. It could be, different kinds of internets or across the country or, It's a lot of that. Okay. So, that. And then you can see that we have a long, right? So long, different pattern. Check out different documents, then loan will be created. This don't tell about who check out what, right? For how long? They'll be different. They created at the wrong time. So, Keller, who creates a loan?
Okay, I think it is controller.
Controller create a loan
Yes.
by using based on what? If the controller wants to create a loan, it need to have something, right?
Yes.
What? Based on
I think is a I think is record.
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 Record. Right, what record? Right.
Using pattern and document.
Pattern in documents. Based on the diagram, I don't think the loan can be created. Yeah, you're right, but I don't think it can be created. Cannot. Eva? Okay, Eva, why? What did you say that?
Loan be based on DB manager, because we need to first get a document, and then we can loan.
Get document and
Yes, get document.
we have document. We have document. Right, but I said the diagram, the diagram, we cannot. Not enough. Shen, what do you think?
After you get the document on the DB manager, and it will check is not null or not null, and it will check it is livable or not livable. And if it is livable, it will create the loan to rent it.
No. It's just not enough to create that. If you guys need to change your name. Answer. The diagram, provides not enough information. That we cannot create loan. That means something is missing. What is missing? Okay. Helper. What do you have helper? Yeah. So, yeah. Yes. Create what? Helper. 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 What? Oh.
Okay, and I check sequence. If I want to create a line, we have to pattern and document. So the reason why we create a line is we have to check who load the document and save to the DB manager.
Yeah, and tell me what's missing, the diagram. Yeah, you're right. And what's missing? Diagram, yeah, we need to,
So there are something missing in this sequence, right?
yeah. And what's
Okay.
missing? You're right, but see, that's it's
Okay.
missing.
Oh, and
You got it?
Is this document missing the payment?
No. Document, we have document. We have document, all right. So look at the top. What is missing?
它没有少一个东西，它有没有它有少东西？
The top. The top. Top. Got it? Hmm? A lot of people. It's a patron. So we need a patron. Yeah, so we don't have a patron, right? Got it? Patron. Documents. Okay? And got it? Even so, still not enough. Why? What is still missing? Any?
I guess is database.
Database?
Yes.
Mm.
Because
No. Okay. Yeah. What is still missing?
I think you have to create a pattern.
It's already. You're sleeping. What is still no? This is still not. You know. We still cannot create alone, even we have patron. Not yet. We cannot create that. Eva? The last piece, right?
We need to check the document whether is available.
No. Available. I just said that, right? So even okay, then we have the documents. Now we know that the patron is missing. We add patron, but the whole diagram, still cannot work. That's one. The last piece cannot work. We cannot create a room. Even we have patron. It's quite hard, right? It's very obvious, but it could be very hard. You guys understand that? Can you detect that? Anything? What? No. No. Really?
It's not the borrow times. It's the times you book the documents the times.
No. Because we was going to create loan, right, based on document, right? So document and the patron. So we go to the data that we know that document, it got to address the policy. No, not that, it just combine that's loan. Which one can check out which, right? It's the loan, right? So we create loan, but still cannot work. Michelle? Yeah, Michelle?
Wait, maybe user ID. Oh no.
Good. Okay, the last piece. So you see that the patron only paying code number without ID. Right, so here we cannot know who. The patron need to have some way enter ID or as a card, the bank card, right? Gotta have that. The checkout GUI need to receive ID and the code number to know who is going to check out what. Right. So it's tedious, but you got to know that if a programmer or the system automatically wanted to generate the code, cannot work, right? Because no input, no ID. We don't know who, right? So patron, even though we have patron, right, but it still cannot work. Okay. Then who creates a message? Who creates a message? Power. Who controller? Okay, good. Who created a document? Controller create message. Who create document? Anyone knows that? Who create document? Right? Yeah. Who create document?
Document create document.
Oh, good. Yeah. So about the entity created that. Right. So yeah, that we understand this. So let's review what we just said. So this one, all right, so the interaction. Could be actor, right? Actor wanted to do something, right? So here, actor communicates with the interface, right? So here, yeah. Actor communicate with interface. Yeah, we can draw a sequence diagram to see what the actor is going to do, right? Patron, right? Enter something, slide something, enter by the actor itself, right? Or slide a card, right? Through card scanner. So the object scanner is going to read something from the card, not the actor, right? Card. Oh. So here, card, read ID, right? Like that. So subject is an actor, yeah. subject is an, I just said the subject is an actor, right? An object acted upon, right? The system. So the system is going to send message like that, right? The target is the actor, right? So object will return a message to actor, right? So subject is an object. So the first one, actor asks something. Actor sends something to the receiver. That receiver is going to read information from whatever the actor want to send by using hand to key in or slide card like that. And it says both subject and object act upon are object. All right. So patron slide card to card reader. So card reader read something, right? So read patron's ID, right, from the card. And then the scanner, right? The scanner gets ID and send ID to someone. All right. So here is the device control. But here, if the patron, right, patron enter code number, the slide, user card, right? They got to read these two, right, from the interface. And this interface, right, so interface is going to send whatever it gets. You know. So the GUI send it to controller. Right, so that's. In this one, subject do this by itself. So they here, a shipment wanted to compute base rate. So wanted to do the thing. Right, need to know something. So you need to give the shipments enough information that can understand that, like a base rate, right? So compute base rate, then need to give information as attribute. They can do something by itself. Okay. Here, the difference between analysis and design. Okay, analysis is application problem oriented, right? We need to know the business process, right? Application domain. It's library, we need to know library, right? Talk with librarian to know that application domain. Analysis, we need to solve the problem, right? So we provide a solution. Analysis describe the application, right? Domain, right? We wanted to model that, model the current situation, right? Analysis, current, and then we model a system, right? Software, what about the software? So analysis could be human, human to human, but design, you need to have a system thinking. So analysis describe what the situation is. Not the whole word, okay. What the situation. And the design prescribe. So you should prescribe, right? Because I'm sick. I got prescription, right? Based on the symptom. Prescription, prescribe. provide a solution, prescribe. That's the solution. Analysis project-oriented decision, right? Design system, right? So one is project, the other is system. Analysis should allow design tooltip. And design, you gotta reduce implementation choices. So altered, why? See, there's the words in red. So why? Let's just allow. One is allowed tooltip, the other is reduce implementation choices. Raise your hand, you understand that. Harry?
I think analysis should allow design alternatives because the analysis is focused on the project and focus on what project is what projects do it. You need to have the if you have a normal process, but you can design the alternative to complete your project.
Does it make sense to my question? So one is encourage different paths, different way. The other is reduce that. Opposite. From analysis to design, then it becomes so different. One is, provides a lot of flexibility, and the other is only outside. No. How do I understand? How do I answer? Analysis. Expand it. And then implementation. Yeah.
I think in analysis we have to try to find the best way to design the system. So we try to border, and in design we have because we finally we have to try to implementation in one way. So we will try to find the best, maybe.
The same is the best. Analysis is going to
Or
find the best way.
suitable.
It's analysis is going to find the best way, and the design also wanted to find the best way. It's the analysis wanted to find the best way, and design you said wanted to find the best way.
Because maybe we have more way to estimate. So we say in analysis maybe we will allow a lot of way.
Is it going to find a best way?
Suitable
Suitable.
way.
And what
Maybe.
about design? Design.
Design is maybe the mean is you have to be going to implementation. Yes. So maybe a reason. So we will from a lot of way try to find the more suitable way to estimate.
Oh, makes sense. All right, makes sense. Okay, Eva?
I think analysis is to find a way we possible to design. Yes, we possible to design. And in the analysis phase, we will determine which user will be the system target, and what the system will do, the system behavior, and
Still need to think about that.
what?
Yeah, talk about designs. We need to think about who will be the user, right? And what are we going to do? And analysis, of course, we need to do that. Know that. Yeah.
Yes, so based on that, we find the possible way, not the best way.
Not a better way.
Not the best way is the possible way.
Which is design or analysis?
Analysis.
Analysis and